I believe with the right help when I was a young person and showed me the potential that I had, then I would have been a different person and I would have not suffered so much in my early years. I've made sure that it's happening for the young people of today in my area. I was treated like a caged animal and I acted like one. Get on with it. If you can survive it, then you're strong. If you can't, then you need light in your life.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another segment of the Resilience Code. I've been really looking forward to this one today because it not only centres an unbelievable story of tenacity, resilience, organised crime, transmuting darkness to light in the East End. But I have a connection with this guy as well because we grew up together, and it's an unbelievable story, I kid you not. Thanks for joining in on the platform, all these subscribers out there. Of course, we're doing wonderful things in the Resilience Code, changing a lot of lives there. For those who want to know more, look underneath in the description. You can go in there, a lot of good stuff there, guys. And today, it's my pleasure to introduce Jack Ramadan. Jack, how are you?
Hello, Steve.
Tell us a bit about what it was like for you growing up, Jack, and you know the kind of hard stuff you had to get through, the darkness you had to find ways through.
Yeah, so you know, from an early age was always difficult. You know, growing up in the East End. You know, I was in a boarding school from a very young age. I was very subversive. I was a very anti-authority. Anyone in a uniform was the enemy to me. You know, I was in and out of prisons for most of my teenage life. One thing after the other. That developed in my late teens. You know, it was arrested for this, arrested for that, and accused of this and accused of that. You know, and it was always badness, it was always destructive, it was always dark. And then, you know, and even up to the age of 40 when I went through my transformation, you know, that life from all them years was still the same. You know, something needed to change. It was me who needed to change. I needed to say, I've had enough of this life. I've had enough of being what the system have made me to be, or what I've grew up to be in the system that I was brought up in. I need to change this, and it's only me who can do that. And you know, it took a lot for me to realise that. And you know, when I did, I realised that I had so much to offer, and so much knowledge and so much education to offer anyone who wants to listen to me, to stop them going through the same darkness that I went through. And that's the journey. I mean, I could elaborate on that, and I could say, you know, like that I was up on the police's most wanted, and you know, they wanted to throw the key away on me, and you know, that they would do anything to get me, and you know, and I was, you know, living that life. I was really in it. It was cops and robbers all the way. But one day I decided I'd had enough of it, and I've had enough of this darkness, and I want some light in my life. And that's what I've been doing for the last 15 years, is putting light in my own life and putting light in others.
I always ask this question with people, Jack, you know, and for those who may not know who you are. So who are you, Jack?
Well, who I am is I'm the founder of the Factories Community Project, which is a registered charity based in Tower Hamlets, East London. And for 15 years, I've been working very hard to change people's lives. It was started because of some serious issues what was happening in the community. You know, there was a lot of crime, a lot of senseless crimes, innocent people being caught up and murdered in these crimes. Through someone who's passionate about my community, I just couldn't sit about and let that happen. So something needed to be done. So I took on an old derelict factory in Bow, East London. I decided that I was going to open up a facility there where I could invite people from the community in, especially young people that are getting involved in gangs and crime, and I would give them the opportunity and show them a different world by offering them positive activities to get themselves involved in. There wasn't any boxing clubs, there wasn't any music or film studios. Hundreds of young people showed up, wanted to get involved in it. In 2008, you know, it was all to do with postcode wars, and kids couldn't even cross the streets, and you know, I knew kids who was involved in this, and you know, they didn't want to be involved in it. They wasn't part of a gang, but to cross the other side of the street, maybe they needed to be involved in a gang. I wanted to show a different mentality, and that was the beginning of Factory East, and that's why it opened.
I mean, certainly myself growing up in that area and around that area, just up the road, Bethnal Green, you know, I certainly know how hard it was to keep away from so many destructive influences, Jack. Do you know what I mean? You know, and I remember when I went down there that day, you know, we was down there, it was really busy down there. You know, I mean, the boxing ring you had in there, it was, you know, proper. They was doing the music in there, they was doing production in there, songwriting, all that stuff. It's a very, very creative space, right, you know? And I can remember thinking, wow, you know, this is so needed here, was the first thing, you know, and I could see the value of everything. But then I was also thinking, I remembered about just how hard it was for all of us. And there weren't no places like that. There weren't no resources. There weren't no help. You know, there weren't no instruction or guidance. You know, for people in the deep end of it, I'm talking about, I mean, the sharp end of it, who was right in the middle of this stuff, the violence and all that, right? To, you know, be able to find a way out of that. Was that one of the reasons that really pushed you with Factory East?
100%. It was the, you know, the social issues and the oppression what made me open Factory East, because, as I said to you, the council, the local authorities, instead of opening places, they was closing them down. If you haven't come in from a stable family, and you wouldn't have had a chance, because there wasn't nothing being offered to young people in them days. And as you said, when we grew up, you know, we come from very tough times, but there was a lot more facilities offered to us. There was a lot more youth clubs. Now, there isn't, even to this day, there's not a lot of youth clubs. These kids might not be able to go to the new youth club that opened because it's not in their postcode, or they've got an enemy of someone in that postcode. And these was the issues that we decided to tackle head on, because we wanted our young people to be able to feel safe in the area, to offer and contribute to the area, rather than be, you know, a crime statistic, or, you know, because basically that's what everyone was around there, a crime statistic, because there wasn't anything positive happening. So Factory East was born out of despair in the community. Something needed to happen. As I mentioned to you, innocent people being caught up in this gang culture and being murdered while they slept in their beds. Something needed to be done. I had an influence in my area because I'm a well-known person in the local community, and because of my influence, I decided that I wanted to see a bit of change. I wanted to be a person to offer these young people opportunities that they may not have ever had offered to them if the factory never come. So with them opportunities that we offered, to change lives, and that's what it's been about until this day. 15 years of changing lives. It's been an amazing journey. The first factory, thousands of people come to the first factory. Hundreds of lives was changed in there. Opportunities was given to people who, I'll give you an example with the music. There was people coming into the area offering to make videos for the young people. Now, these are 17-year-old kids or 16-year-old kids, and you've got people coming in and asking them, we want $3,000 off you to make your video, and we can get it up on YouTube and we can make you famous. So these young kids are committing to having these videos done, but where are they going to get $3,000 from to pay for this video? They're 16, 17-year-olds. They've never had a job. They come from broken families. So through these stories that I heard, I took it on board to get involved and to have a word with these people coming into the area and saying we can make you a video, and explaining to the people that you're asking a 16, 17-year-old kid to give you thousands of pounds. They ain't even seen thousands of pounds yet in their life, but you're asking them that to fulfill their dreams. Then you're promising them that they can have 1 million views because your video is going to get that and you're going to generate it. So you know, and how I see that what was happening, they was creating crime, because where was they going to get that money? They was either going to drug deal or they was going to rob. So something needed to be done. So I set up a studio and they could come and make their videos in that studio for nothing. And they didn't have to worry about where they're going to get the money, or we just give them hope and opportunity. And that was the music side of Factory East. We had some big names come up that studio from the music world, working with the young people, giving them loads of opportunities.
Certainly an admirable thing you've done all the way through, Jack. Just how hard was that for you?
It's been a difficult journey, but you know, life's never been easy, so it was a pleasure, because some of the other stuff, it's difficult, but I mean, some of the other positions I've been in and situations I've been in my life, this was, well, it was like a cherry on the cake, because it was easy to do for me. So it wasn't difficult in the sense that to do it, it was difficult to try to get support when it was up and running, because of my past reflected on the project. My past, as you know, Steve, my past, where I come from in my past. So for me to be this changed person, it wasn't welcomed by the authorities, because they wasn't involved in it. You know, I wasn't a product of the system where I'd rehabilitated myself in prison. I'm a reformed character, self-reformed through life's lessons and what I've learned in life. That's what changed me, myself. I changed because I was going through, before the factory, it was all to do with serious crime. Getting guns pulled out on me left, right and centre by the police. A lot of times. I was laid on the floor, I got put in the cell, I was 39 years old. And I just knew in my life that something had to change, and I had to change, because I was either going to be shot dead by the police, or I'd end up doing a long time in prison, or I'd end up in a mental home somewhere. And after certain things happened in the community, that was my drive to change and make sure that I'm going to help as many people as I can, so they don't have to face what I've faced. And, I believe with the right help when I was a young person, if the right person would have come along and said to me, you've got potential, and showed me the potential that I had, then I would have been a different person, and I would have not suffered so much in my early years. But unfortunately, that didn't happen for me. But I've made sure that it's happening for the young people of today in my area.
Here's a question. you know, of all them, you know, kids, and they was all kind of ages you was going through there, and it was absolutely the right kind of time in their life to help them, right? To lift them up. We're talking about potential, Jack, and all that. So, we're talking 15, 16, 17, 18. It's that perfect time at, okay, what are you going to do now? What are you going to become? What is your life going to be from this point onwards? It can be a statistic, and be so bad if you go down, that way, the gang, the crime, the organised crime route.
You throw your life away.
Yeah, you throw your life away. I mean, we have so many stories, so many friends. I mean, we went that route ourselves, so we know that, right? Or you can, you can break the chains of what you think are change, but really they're not change. It's choices, because life is infinite possibility, and you have a chance here. Well, really, we're showing you can be anything that you want, and there's that bit of support. But let me ask you, right, just to narrow it for people, with all the people who was coming in there, and there was literally thousands that went through them doors. What were the main challenges that you think all of these people was bringing in there, through them doors? What was their main, if we could put it into three things, Jack, what was the three main things that was locking them down and making their lives so difficult to get into something better?
Well, lack of opportunity, for a start. There was no opportunity being offered, as I explained to you. The youth clubs were shutting left, right and centre everywhere, funding's being cut. That's number one. Number two, peer pressure.
Yeah, it's big.
Number two. The number three, finances. A lot of people there are, like you said, a lot of people there find it hard to make ends meet just to feed their families or their kids. These are the difficulties that a lot of the kids that we worked with faced. Single parent families, a lot of them 16-year-olds, they're the man of the house, and they've got to act like the man of the house and be tough like the man of the house, and like that mentality of thinking, but getting them in, letting them know that you can forget about that world out there when you come in here. You ain't going to have no one bothering you in here. If you want to sing and you sound like a woman, that's down to you. If you want to dance, you can dance. No one's here to ridicule you because of what you want to do.
A safe space.
You can be yourself in this place, yeah. And you've got a safe place to do what you need to do to better yourself and contribute to us in here, and most importantly to the community outside of here. And that's what it was. It was all about.
Jack, look, what people don't understand about this, right, is and they're quick to judge, is a lot of these kids, for whatever reason, there's a myriad of reasons. That's not the important thing here. Is a lot of these kids, they don't know how to be in a family. They don't know how to be in the world. They don't get a chance to be themselves. They don't have a stable family unit that has some kind of future healthy resource that can give them time to blossom, where they can learn how to, we go to work and I discipline myself and I give, and through giving, the art of giving and the art of healthy thinking about others, then I contribute and I get back to me also. Really, there's a big blind spot here where they're not trained, right?
It's a brilliant point that you brought up there, Steve, because another thing which is a forgotten thing is manners. Yeah, manners are not even, it was an important part of the factory. We was teaching kids to say please and thank you without feeling weak.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Strange as it may seem, but
yes,
these are big issues.
These are big things.
And if you think about that, look, if you think about that, it's just in something so simple, but so big a communication style. Yes. This is the difference between when you're trying to mix with someone who's different or get a job, for instance.
Steve, we was brought up.
And they think, hold on, but it's not, it's just they haven't been taught. It's not that they don't want to present.
Well, we was brought up, and you know the saying.
You know what I mean?
Manners
maketh the man.
Don't cost you nothing, but can cost you everything.
And that cost, and that's
because
exactly
if you haven't got no manners, and
yeah.
you ain't, then people don't want to know. If someone offers you a drink, and you say yeah, you got no please or thank you or no gratitude in it.
I don't need
Yeah,
this.
so
You know what I mean?
this was, you know, one of the main sort of like issues that we was dealing with, is to get them to say please and thank you and appreciate that what was going on for them by the community. Because once I started it, I was followed by a lot of the community, and a lot of the community got involved. School teachers, sports work, youth services. You know, everyone started looking at this new thing, what was happening, and realised that, you know, I mean, even professors was coming there and they was telling us that these sort of things, look, what we're doing here was the sort of places what opened up in Los Angeles after the riots in Los Angeles years ago, when, you know, and then after the riots, more community was needed. So it wasn't that I knew about that model, because I never did. But all I knew is something in the area needed to be done, and the kids around the area needed to learn about other people and compassion and manners and respect, and that's what the factory was about. It was all about respect. It was about care. Yeah. There was one simple rule in the factory, and it was as simple as this, and everyone could understand it: be nice or leave. And it worked. Everyone understood that.
And it's, Jack, it's so good, right? You know, it's like I tell my kids, there's only two rules. I keep them really simple. One is, when you talk to me, I ask you something, you tell me the truth.
Yes.
I don't care what it is, or I can't help you. And two is, you always respect people, places and things. That's it.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
I don't care who they are, where they are, what level they are. You never change that for anyone, right? Because these are the fundamentals for where kind of people on their journey, you know, they'll put the other pieces together, right, you know, in their own way, at their own time. But they need a fundamental framework. Look, you don't bend this for no one. The world's not how you think. If you do this, this and this, you've got a good chance. It's like, you know, I always say to people, look, how you see the world is absolutely crucial. I was brought up to, don't trust no one. You know, get what you can when you can. Everyone's against you. You've got to be really careful, really suspicious. Of course, that's the wrong way. Yeah. That's the wrong way. It got me in, you know, so much difficulties. And of course, it's not that at all, right? And I teach people, it's even in the resilience code, is look, that the world is working for you. It's limitless possibility, not against you. Yeah. This is wrong, right? You know, but the fact is that when you're really leveraged, you know, within circumstances and environments like we was growing up there, you can't see the wood for the trees, Jack. And look, there's a few other darker things to this that's going on, which people may not really think goes on or understand. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to shine the light on it here, which is, so you've got someone who wants to change his life under very difficult circumstances. Right, he finds the circumstances, the intervention, the resource to actually do it. Yeah. Walk the walk and all that. Right, you've done that. Yeah. So it's actually translating into wonderfulness now. Yes. But now you've got like the police for all intents and purposes, you know, and the authorities, rather than embrace that at the time, which we would have hoped that they would have done, because we all want to be on the same page here to make things better. That's not what actually happened, is it, Jack? They actually was trying to tear it apart, and they thought there was something else going on. What was actually happening there with that then?
Well, you know, like the police was, you know, waiting outside of the premises or up the road. Example, we had a drive-by shooting at one end of the road. There was a murder happened at the other end of the road, and we was in the middle of it, working with all the gangs. But there wasn't nothing like that happening in that facility. And because of that, it became under their radar, because why wasn't it happening there? Why is it happening everywhere else and not here? So the police would then wait for young people to come from the place, and then they would ask them questions like, what's going on up there, and what are these people doing in there up there? What's Jack like? Is he, you know, what's he giving yous up there? Is there guns? Is there drugs? Is like, tell us what's going on? And the kids was just like in shock with them, because like these kids didn't know me. They only knew me as a community, someone who's done something for the community. So on hearing these sort of things, what the police are asking them, obviously they come back and they says, you know, look, we've been asked these questions about you, that questions, and I said, well, what did you tell them? And well, we told them that you're giving us boxing gloves and microphones and opportunity, and you know, you're giving us a safe place that we can express ourselves and be creative. Yeah. And I said, well, that's good that you told them that. And if they come to you again, make sure you get their number or you ask their name so that I can make a list of these police, so that, you know, hopefully in the future something might be done about them. But it wasn't long until they actually came in the building, and there was a copper, and he was the community sergeant of the area. And he was from Everton. So basically, he didn't like anyone who spoke with a southern accent anyway. And he was continuously on me and the people that was helping me run the projects at first, before, you know, other people started getting involved, like the youth workers and the council workers and school teachers. This was in the early days of it. And, you know, one day I can remember someone writ something on the wall, because I had the walls where everyone could come in and express themselves. Write down your postcode, write how you're feeling today, whatever, write what you want up there. But as long as it's not anything that we don't want to see, then someone come in and they drew something up there.
Anything toxic?
It was toxic. Yeah. What they'd done. Someone's drew someone getting an axe put in their head or something. It was really naughty. So I decided, right, I've had enough of this. I'm painting the gaff. And I was up on a ladder painting these high ceilings of this warehouse, and the door got kicked off its hinges, and 11-old Bill ran into the place with council workers and everyone. And I was up on this ladder with this paintbrush and pot in my hand, in me whites, and he ran in and he said to me, right, what's going on in here? And I just froze and said to him, if I have to explain to you what's going on in here, right, yeah, like, if you can't see, mate, and I've got to explain this to you.
There's a serious glass, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was that was the mentality of this community sergeant. You know, I know now, 15 years on, that they'd still don't want me to move forward with the project.
What would you say, Jack, to your younger self?
Get into sports, be dedicated into sports, watch who you hang about with, make sure that you know that you get yourself into a good job at a trade and stick with your trade. You know, don't let anyone take you off the path that you're on. Obviously, you know, care for others, but most importantly, put care into yourself first. And, you know, there's so many things I'd say to myself as a young person, and this is all the things that I say to the young people that I work with, because when like I said, when I see a lot of them, they remind me of, they could easily be me as a younger person.
That's the start.
So that's what I reflect on to them now, and when I speak to a lot of them, I'm speaking to myself, and I'm saying, you know, this place, you know, I've used this place, it's built for you, and, you know, you're welcoming in, this is your place, and you feel like home in here, and really make them feel that they're part of something positive. That's what I'd say to my young self, be positive and get involved in positive activities and get a job and save money and go on holidays and jump on the train ride and get out of the concrete jungle and
change the narrative.
Yes. For where we've been and what we've been through, and we know a lot of people ain't had the opportunity to still be sitting in this place today in the world, you know, to tell their stories, but we are. There's been some sort of guidance, some sort of protection for us, because, you know, we're not all born bad or we're not all born good, but I believe that through life, you know, angels attract themselves to you because they know that you needed love or you needed support or guidance or whatever, and they've always, you know, they've always been about us, and I believe that. So it's just something I believe, and you know, you believe it too.
Look, you know, I'm very grateful for all things, and one of the things I do, Jack, is always develop my gratitude. I keep it really simple, you know, and I always say, you know, whatever I'm graced with in my life, I say, thank you for that. I make a point of saying thank you for that, no matter how big or, you know, how small, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, because I've learned, Jack, you know, you know, I'm very happy that I've learned that way as well, you know, because this is the right way.
I'm grateful for every day that I wake up, and I give thanks for as soon as I open my eyes. Thank you for waking me up today. Please show me what you want me to do today.
Jack, listen, thanks for coming on, my brother.
Nice,
it's been a pleasure.
God
really.
bless you, mate. God bless. Thank you, Stevie. Thank you for having me.